It's like you need an interpreter for all that shit. You be like, what? What are you saying? Repeat that again? And they be frustrated with you because you don't get it. Then they hit you with this right here.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down. Hold it down.
Love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment respectfully. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below in the description bar and or the join button here on the YouTube. You know why? Because the paying members already know what the next book is. You guys are just finding it out today. Now let's begin reading Strength of a Woman. The Phyllis Hyman story. I don't remember consciously seeking this business, but friends say I always wanted it, said Phyllis. I was probably telling them something I wasn't telling myself. While she weighed her options, Phyllis, now in her early 20s, took a job as a live-in babysitter of sorts. A friend of mine with a big house was having a kid, and her husband was working 2 jobs, and he wanted me to keep her company. So I got free room and board, and the work was really simple, sleeping and talking. But after about 8 months on the job, Phyllis grew restless. One day I said to myself, this will never do. There was only one way out of this job for Phyllis, and out of the city, which was her ultimate goal. Phyllis auditioned for and quickly got a job with another band. All the People was Phyllis's ticket out of Pittsburgh, she said proudly. The band was a loud R&B horn band, and it used to drive me crazy. I don't like loud music, but got me to Miami. Things moved fast for Phyllis in Miami. In no time, she was securing dates for herself as a solo vocalist and would often sit in with several local bands. Tea to Green quickly became one of Phyllis's regular spots to perform. While the club was not nearly as upscale as its name might imply, it did attract a high caliber of talent to its tiny stage. Along with Phyllis, other regular performers of the time included Gwen Dickey, one of the most impressive vocalists. She's got that raspy voice that just moves your time on my hand. That's what Mary J wanna be, that damn Gwen Dickey. Sorry, Mary J fans. I'm so sorry. Gwen Dickey, oh my gosh, now I think she a little off too now. Along with Phyllis, other regular performers of the time included Gwen Dickey, who by 1976 would be topping the pop charts as lead singer for the group Rolls Royce with the hit Car Wash, and Margaret Reynolds, who went on to become a founding member of Fire, the trio known for the elaborate, lush backing vocals that added to the sound of Miami superstar KC and the Sunshine Band. Phyllis became friends with a drummer and percussionist named Chico Lopez. Y'all know that's Lulu snoring. But Chico didn't play in Phyllis's band. He had a regular and better paying gig with Joe Donato, a brass man who played a variety of instruments. Donato was a white man fronting an all-black band. Donato had just signed a contract to play at Coconut Grove's newest night spot, Sausalito. With Donato, there was not a lot of time for rehearsals, which Phyllis really didn't require anyway. Phyllis was not exclusive to Donato's band. She did the occasional solo date, and she also sang with a few other groups, such as the Hondo Beat. an all-purpose outfit that played jazz, R&B, and Caribbean tunes. The Hondo Beat regularly played week-long stints on assorted cruise ships within the Norwegian Caribbean line. Phyllis was in her cabin aboard the MS Skyward when she heard a spectacularly sexy voice just outside her door and decided to investigate. I was getting ready for work, so I peeked out to see who he was. I said, wow, it was truly love for me at first sight. Phyllis said of her first glimpse at Larry Alexander. So according to the book, he was Phyllis Hyman's type. He was taller than her, he was an attractive man, and he had a thick Jamaican accent. Ooh, I'm telling you, I don't know what them ninjas be saying half the time, but it just sounds so good. It does something to you when they be like, "Guan on and come soon." It's like you need an interpreter for all that shit. You're like, what? What are you saying? Repeat that again? And they be frustrated with you because you don't get it. Then they hit you with this right here. Yankee. It's like they say 17 words to our 2 words. You know, it's weird, but it sounds so good. Larry fit Phyllis's physical taste to a T. He was taller than she was, and at 6'1.5" that was saying something, with deep eyes and an even deeper Jamaican accented voice. Like Phyllis, he was a vocalist working on the ship, and the pair struck up a quick friendship. We were talking marriage in a couple of months. Phyllis was also talking about another change in her life. Joe Donato's contract with Sausalito was for 1 year. When it ran out in early 1974, he decided to take the band on tour. Phyllis, meanwhile, decided to form a band of her own. She called on bassist Mark Egan and drummer Billy Barker from the Hondo Beat to help her out. Thus, Phyllis Hyman and the PH Factor were born. Their sound, as Egan described it, was eclectic. It was a real melting pot. We played everything, including funk, Latin music, Brazilian music, and straight-ahead jazz. Phyllis just fit into it all. Phyllis and the PH Factor quickly developed a reputation and a regular following, and were soon gigging 6 nights a week. One of the band's regular spots to play was the Checkmate Lounge in South Miami, which was owned by entertainment attorney Leonard Levenstein. Lenny, as his friends called him, took an interest in Phyllis and arranged an audition with Steve Alimo of Austin Records. Austin was the precursor to TK Records, the empire responsible for the advent of disco and such acts as Casey and the Sunshine Band, George McRae, Lattimore, and Timmy Thompson. It was at the time, however, still a fledgling empire, and Phyllis, who went to the audition with Larry, was not impressed. Levenstein said, "She's great," so I went down to hear her. And I said, "Yeah, she is really great," recalled Alimo. So we came in and cut a couple of things with her. Alimo was interested in Phyllis, but ultimately no deal was signed. Levenstein wanted to manage her, but she didn't want that. I don't think she thought we were big enough. She wanted to sign with a major. She was very, very headstrong. She thought she was going to be a star, and she ended up being one, though she still was a relative newcomer, especially as a band leader. The PH Factor boys were duly impressed by Phyllis. I learned my work ethic from her, recalled guitarist Hiram Bullock. She showed me that no matter how many people were in the room, you should still give it your all. Larry was on the scene when he wasn't singing on the cruise ship circuit, but his role with the band was unofficial. Often he was simply Phyllis's chauffeur. In the beginning, I tried to handle all the business aspects myself, Phyllis said. The most I would let him do was drive me around to different gigs. More often than not, though, it was Mark or Hiram who drove Phyllis. She was quite comfortable watching soaps all day and making some smothered pork chops, said Bullock. I'd pick her up with her hair in curlers and drive her to the gig, and she'd hit the stage, and it was like bam. After several months at the Checkmate, Phyllis and the band moved to Cahoots in Fort Lauderdale, Ramada Inn. While still at Cahoots, Phyllis met Sid Marr, who, along with Freddie Frank, owned a label called Roadshow Records, distributed at the time by Skepta. Roadshow had made a name for itself the year earlier with the #1 single. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied, born and ready. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Go on and do it. I'm telling you, still to this day, that BT Express gets busy. It's another song that they had that I love too, but I'm telling you that go on and do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. That mother frigga cranks. Even now, in 2024, they were instantly taken with Phyllis and interested in adding her to the Roadshow roster of artists. After an entertaining evening at the club, Sid and Freddie spent the next few days talking with Phyllis and Larry. It took us a little bit of time, but we finally signed her to one of our labels, recalled Sid. The label was Desert Moon Records, a new startup. Shortly thereafter, Larry, who had finally begun making a little headway in his efforts to assert some influence over Phyllis's career, approached producer George Kerr. George had scored a million-selling record, Hypnotized, on Linda Jones in 1967. It was actually in West Orange, New Jersey, that Phyllis went into the studio with George. She traveled there with Larry, but without the band, and laid the vocals for Leaving the Good Life Behind to a pre-recorded track. Leaving was an upbeat disco number written by gospel artist Alvin Darling. Y'all don't forget, all that tap dancing y'all hear in the background, that's Peg Leg Bates and his brother, okay? I think my baby got a crooked spine because his tail just curved to the left, okay? Like to the left. Lulu tail don't go like that. And you know them Frenchies, their tails be like a short bone. But anyway, if you hear that tap dancing, it's Peg Leg Bates and his brother. So anyway, y'all, Phyllis Hyman went into the studio again with the dude George. The next time included the band members. The band members was like, why is this dude being so controlling? Y'all don't know how to let Phyllis be Phyllis, which in turn turned out not good. The additional tracks that she did with them was, and that would be Baby, I'm Gonna Love You, and Do Me, on which Hiram shared writer's credits and contributed an amazing guitar solo. Recording went smoothly. Despite Kerr's praise, neither Phyllis nor the rest of the band was too pleased with the results of the session. I always thought that she had much more talent than got across in those records, said Mark Egan, who played bass on the sessions. I thought they overproduced her. Sid and Freddie, along with George, thought the simplest way to break Phyllis as a new artist was to follow the current trend. That would be disco. Now, what they did with her didn't work, but we all know that You Know How to Love Me more than worked. It hit. We not there yet, but it's coming. The Love Lounge, Phyllis and the band moved on to Scamps, a club in Coconut Grove, not far from where Phyllis had played with Joe Donato. But the band was not destined to enjoy a lengthy partnership with the club. Dig this. Remember when I told you in the last video, the hardest part of the business for a woman is the men? Prime example. So Phyllis at the club. The club owner is making advances towards her. Phyllis is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm here to get business done. And you trying to tell me I need to go in this back room with you in order for me to play in this club? You can kiss my ass. No more gig at that club. There's a lot of women, especially now in 2024. Women have absolutely no respect. These younger women who want to be a part of the entertainment world, oh my God, they'll do anything.
Hello. Every girl I know that wear blonde hair said, you got to go.
Going like that? You going like that?
Take care. You look freaky, you can stay. You know how to fight? You can stay.
Okay. Yeah, I want to know why you be staring at me like that.
I wonder why you did that.
As far as what?
Make your breath smack your butt.
They'll put themselves out there pretending like they sucking on watermelons, wear clothes where their butt cheeks is hanging out. It's just so, women are so used to being disrespected that they've allowed disrespect to be the norm. But Phyllis Hyman ain't having it. She told that club owner to go somewhere and suck a lemon. That's right, Phyllis. You a great, big, beautiful bitch. You ain't got to take that shit from no daggone greasy club owner. The next night, we got to the gig and our equipment was off the stage, said Bullock. They hired another band, but the PH Factor still had a gig. 2 high rollers, as Bullock recalled them, had offered to book the band for a week in Belize. Now the PH Factor was free to take them up on the offer. The trip to Belize affected Phyllis and forced her to take her career more seriously than she ever had before. The poverty was frightening, she said. Somehow it got me thinking I was going to have to come to New York and try to make it. Bullock recalls it wasn't just the poverty that convinced Phyllis, but the issue at Scamps as well. When we got back, Phyllis was like, this whole scene sucks. Let's go to New York. The band arrived in the Big Apple on December 21st, 1975.